Hello everybody! This week, as suggested, we are taking a walk in the Juan region using only an Octillery. This Pokemon is all kinds of weird. Unfortunately, its only ability is Suction Cups, who is quite bad because it's useless. At least our starting move set, even if it only has one move, it's not so bad. Quick reminder of the rules: I can only use my starter in battle, I am not allowed to use consumables in battle, I can't raise my evasion, and I can't use cheats or glitches. I really want to know what the Pokemon Company was thinking making a fish evolve into an octopus. Then again, they are no strangers to weird evolutions. Today I did not spend much time choosing a nature, so I just grabbed the first decent one. The first fight against May turned out to be a lot harder than I expected. Trico resists water gun, so we do about the same damage to each other, and in the end it was closer than what I would have liked. If he had a stab move, I would have surely lost. The next fight is against the grunt in the forest. Since Poochyena does not resist water, we can defeat him a lot easier. It's a bit weird to still have only one move, but it's not that big of a deal yet. It would be enough on its own to take care of Roxanne, but I also used the Bullet Seed TM just in case something happens. As you might expect, she was not exactly a big challenge. Thanks to our surprisingly high attacking stats, our stab water move does a lot of damage to her Pokémons. The two Geodudes get wiped out in one shot. The Nosepass lasts a couple of turns, but eventually she goes down. I almost lost the first time we met May, so I ran away instead of doing the optional fight. Level 22 is huge for Octillery. I learned a lot of moves, so now my moveset is looking very fine, and with our new arsenal we can take on Brawly with no fear. Thanks to Psybeam that the octopus can learn for some reason, I can make quick work of his fighting types, and with that we already have 2 badges. Next we have to go to Slateport, where we meet the 2 grunts harassing that other guy. They are not very hard. Sure, all of my moves are not that great for the 2 Carvanas, but since their defenses are very low, even Bubble Beam is able to shut them down. After wiping the floor with their Pokémons and being forced to listen to Archie, we can finally move on to something more interesting. The May 2 fight was not as bad as it could have been, all thanks to Aurora Beam. Without it, I would have been defeated multiple times. Instead, since it is super effective on her starter, we have an easier time. But not too easy, since I am quite slow and she can attack before me. Next, we have a gym fight that might seem very hard if you did not pay attention to the move pool. For whatever reason, this cephalopod can learn Flamethrower, so I spent a bunch of money and bought it. So yeah, I am using budget Volcanion. Well, since that was no big deal, we can get his badge too and then move on to the next fight in the game, who is against Maxi. Unfortunately for him, we are a water type special attacker, so there is not a whole lot he can do about it. I pretty much just swept his whole team with Bubble Beam. Now that we stopped him and saved the region, we can descend the mountain and reach the next gym. Continuing the trend of people getting destroyed by H2O is Flannery, who specializes in fire types. So yeah, she was easy too. She could have been a bit more interesting if she used a Pokemon with a drought, but in this generation only Groudon has that ability. Soon after defeating her too, I had to backtrack quite a bit, because the next major fight is against Norman, who is the first enemy who actually gives us sort of a challenge. Even if Octillery's whole body is red, the main weak point is the low speed. Because of it, there are quite a few Pokémon that can move before us. Norman uses that to inflict a bit of damage to me, but since he does not get any crits, I have enough HP to endure his hits and defeat his team by blowing some bubbles on them too. Now that we can use Surf, I upgraded my moveset significantly to what will pretty much be the definitive one. Much like in the previous fight against her, May stopped being a problem thanks to our heterogeneous moveset. After defeating her, we can make our way to Winona, where history repeats itself because thanks to Flamethrower and Ice Beam, we are super effective against her whole team. Minus Pelipper, but nobody cares about that pelican nuisance. It's just going to spam Protect to waste our time. In this occasion, the mollusk is going to eat the bird, not the other way around. Once we have acquired the sixth badge, we can move on with the story. I am not sure if it was needed, but I wanted revenge on May, so this time I accepted the optional fight against her. As you might expect, since her team did not change that much from a minute ago, the outcome is pretty much the same. For whatever reason, Game Freak is reluctant to showcase all of their Pokémons and give multiple trainers the same ones. After his legendary runs away, Maxi starts a fight with us. He clearly did not learn anything from the last battle we had, because his team is still very weak to water, so I am free to just spam Surf to wash away all of his Pokémons. The next major obstacle is the 2-on-1 against the twins Tate and Liza. As I mentioned in the past, they are quite weak to Surf, therefore I was not very worried and did not train much before them. This was almost my undoing, because they are still able to do quite a bit of damage to me with the Psychic, and slowly but surely it adds up. To make things worse, Lunatone lands an Hypnosis, but thankfully I can wake up just in time to take it out before he does the same to me. After that close fight, I wanted to relax a bit, and just around the corner there is the other double fight of the game, where we have to help Steven. This one is usually quite simple, so I was able to just turn off my brain and click A to spam surf. Talking about something more engaging, I think the next video will be the first one using my new layout. I am typing the script with my fingers crossed, and I assure you it's the weirdest of feelings. Assuming that it will work, which is a lot to ask. The only drawback is that I will not be able to record on my phone anymore while walking on lunch break. Thankfully, there is Pokemon Rangers for that. As soon as I get around to editing them, I'll release the shorts for the boss fights in Guardian Signs 2. Maybe a bit less often this time around. Getting back to Emerald, one of the last fights in the game is against Archie. While his team can cope a little better with water, that is not going to stop me from spamming surf in this occasion too. I had some thoughts floating around in my great matter about opening up a Discord server, but I am not sure how useful it would be since the channel is still minuscule. I guess I can do it anyway if there is interest from you guys, so let me know in the comments. Once boot legendaries are active, the weather in the region looks like Florida, so we have to go ask Rayquaza for help. And you can do me a solid by pressing the like, subscribe and bell buttons, so hopefully the video will get more impressions than subs this time. Juan was a bit scary, not going to lie. I don't have any grass or electric moves, so my damage output against other water types is not great. I maybe could have used Return instead of Psybeam. My attack is actually pretty good, but I did not think about it. This caused the fight to slow down significantly, and I take quite a beating, but thanks to my decent stats and Citrus Berry giving me a bit more HP, I could keep myself alive. The worst of it was against his last two Pokémons. Kronaast leaves a hit, so I had to sit here looking at more seafood. Kingdra can be a nightmare because if you don't kill it fast enough, it will set up double teams and then you'll never hit it again. Fortunately, this time I did not miss much, so I was able to finish the fight in my favor with no resets. After acquiring all of the badges in the region, we can finally make our way to the Victory Road and then the League. Of course, it can't be that easy, so Wally is in the way. Usually his team is not bad, but this time we have pretty much the perfect moveset to counter him. The only thing that is able to leave a hit is his ace Gardevoir thanks to his massive special defense, but he can't do much as we keep on the assault. So eventually Wally runs out of potions and Gardevoir falls. We now have access to the League. I gave Octillery a last minute upgrade by teaching Psychic. Sidney is not too dangerous since we are a special attacker. This time we have an ice move for his grass types. The only thing that is able to resist us is Kronaast again, but with a couple surfs we can throw Larry back into the ocean. With Sidney defeated very easily, I was starting to think that the league might not be as bad as I thought. Phoebe is the second obstacle. While her team may not seem too bad, there is the usual course from her lead, and a couple of her other Pokémons know Thunderbolt, so this could have gone badly. For her, I equipped the Mystic Water. I'm not sure if it made the difference, but I like to believe it did. So in the end, Phoebe was not a big deal either. Unfortunately, here is where my forgetfulness comes back to bite me. I forgot to switch held items, so I lost once against Glacia. To be fair, I would have used a citrus berry instead of cherry, so maybe it did not matter all that much. Of course, after losing, I did not change my item, because I am not the sharpest tool, but at least I did not get paralyzed this time around. So the fight against her was a bit more doable. While the Glalis are not a problem because of Flamethrower, I can't use it on the Seals because of their thick fat ability and had to rely on Psychic instead. It worked fine, so we can move on to the last of the Elite Four. Drake turned out to be quite the lucky guy. Kingdra got the best RNG I have seen in a while. Out of 8 body slams, he got 2 paralysis and 3 crits. I don't know what to say. Fortunately, at some point, his luck runs out, and in the successful attempt, I just get average luck. Without any BS happening, even if his Pokémons are faster than me and can do good damage, I have enough HP to survive the onslaught. Just barely. And can pull through thanks in no small part to Ice Beam. Last but not least, we have to defeat the champion. Unfortunately, he just could not be done at my level, so I had to use all the rare candies I had to reach level 80. Here he was still strong and defeated me a couple of times. The only boosting move Octillery can learn is Focus Energy, but it did not seem that great without Sniper, so I could not set up, and just had to hope I had enough firepower to get through Wallace's team. He has a lot of full restores, so the fight was long and hard, but after a while I got a bit of luck and scored a critical hit against Milotic. This allowed me to take it out the next turn and skipped the whole recover stalling sequence. By the time I reached his last Pokémon, I did not have much HP left, but Wallace snatches defeat from the jaws of victory. All he had to do is a Dragon Dance and then Hyper Beam to win, but since he didn't, I can defeat him with a couple more beams, and so Squidward can be crowned King of the Juan region. Thank you for watching, I hope you liked it. Remember to like, share, subscribe and ring the bell. And also do not forget to leave a comment. See you next week. Bye!